The book that I chose to present is called I Am Malala. It is written by Malala Yousefzai. She is a girl from Pakistan who in 2012 was targeted by the Taliban for being outspoken against their practices of against women. And her school bus was attacked. She was shot, um, but that's not really what the story is about. It's a climax to the entire story, but the story is about the country as much as it's about living under Taliban rule. Um, Malala was born in a country that celebrates its sons rather than its daughters. In her words, rifles are fired in celebration of a son, while daughters are hidden away behind a curtain. She was very lucky. Her father adored her, and he raised her to be a daughter who was well educated, who went to school, he believed in education for all, not just for the ruling classes or for boys. He was active in literary societies. He was active in politics. He was even active in environmental causes. So she came from a very unique background in Pakistan. Um, he actually saw a life of freedom for his daughter that was unlike what most fathers in Pakistan would envision for their child if it was a female. The world in which Malala was raised, she was a free thinker. She was outspoken at an early age. But these were also the characteristics that caused her to become a target for the Taliban. She spoke out against restrictions of the Taliban government. She drew attention to the issue in a personal way. This was during the time where the news was starting to wind down about Iraq and Afghanistan. Our troops were starting to withdraw. And then here comes this story about what life was like for those who still lived in these countries where there was very fundamentalist rule. And for her, she was actually shot point blank in the face. So it was all the more shocking for the rest of the world to see, because we would hear stories about how their rights were being violated, but this was an act of aggression against a child. Now, the reason that I chose this story is it has interest that directly ties to middle schoolers. My students look for those protagonists that are like them, trying to show their independence and their own strength. They're trying to show that they have something that they can contribute to the world. In other words, a cause that they're fighting for. So Malala did that throughout her life. So these kids are really going to find that to be appealing. Also, my students are studying through 6th, 7th, 8th grades world conflicts. They're studying geography, particularly the geography of the Middle East, because that's so important to the growth of the rest of the world. That is the cradle of civilization. In fact, in 8th grade, the entire social studies curriculum is about ancient civilizations. So at every level, the kids can identify not only in English but in their social studies as well. And then finally, there's relevance in current events, not only in the Middle East, but also now in Ukraine, where we have a lot of the same kind of ethnic issues going on. So this was just a story that I thought would appeal to my readers on very many levels, on different levels. It is a story that is for the more mature readers. Um, it is a middle school to high school read. I chose to read it on my Kindle because that's what a lot of my students use now. They don't check out books like they used to. And this one is readily available. I bought it, but it's easily available through our Overdrive loan in our school library. So um, this was a book that I really enjoyed, and I think that it is well worth reading.